Folks, welcome to Winning on Wednesday. My name is Juan Vides. I'm the founder of Winning on Wednesday. And Winning on Wednesday is a platform that meets every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the purpose is to build meaningful relationships and get to know each other and expand your network. We're a little bit more different from other networking groups, and I like to say that we're a branding, marketing, networking group organization that we'd like to promote our members and brand our members. And speaking of which, I always say people do business who they know, like, and trust. And speaking of which, I would like to introduce my friend, Karen. Karen Tenenbaum, how are you, Karen?
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you, thank you. And so tell us quickly about yourself.
I'm an attorney and a CPA in 2 states. I have an LLM in tax, and I handle tax problems. I've focused on helping people that either owe money to the government, the IRS and New York State, or are being audited. So you see a lot of restaurants that might have a tax problem. You see a lot of people claiming they moved to Florida, who or are working remotely these days. And so we try to help them.
Wow. Wow. So tell us about your early years. Where did Karen grew up? Where did it all start?
So it all started in Brooklyn, born in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
At 4 years old, moved to Queens, Bayswater, Queens, Far Rockaway. And at
Nice.
14, I moved to Lawrence, Long Island, graduated from Lawrence High School, even though I also went to Far Rockaway High School. And then I got married. Well, I went to college, went for an LLM in tax at NYU after, and then got married and had kids and kept moving on the island. We started in Cedarhurst, then we went to Wantor, and now I'm in Dix Hills for the last 25 years.
Wow. So tell us, when you were little, did you have any inspiration of being, what did you have ideas, or did you always wanted to become a tax attorney?
So it's funny that you say that. I always wanted to be a teacher, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I actually have fulfilled that dream in a way, even though I'm doing something totally different. I started a nonprofit organization named Commerce Plaza that's now with Yes Community Counseling Center. And it teaches children about financial literacy and money. And it's a lot of fun, actually. It's a hands-on experience. It's open to all school districts on Long Island, and over 75,000 kids have come through the program. And so it's actually being a teacher without actually being there. There are other teachers there, and they do a 6-week curriculum in the school, and then they go on this 1-day field trip. It's open to 5th graders, 11-year-olds, and they have fun. So when you pay, someone's the bookkeeper, and when you write out the check to the phone company, someone connects the receiver. And when you pay the rent, someone takes down the Velcroed for lease sign. And then you go over to your 11-year-old friend at the bank, and you deposit your quote check from working, and then you get to go walk around and buy promotional items. Let's see, Northwell Health is involved, Hofstra is involved, Capital One is involved. IKEA decorated the kitchen. McDonald's supplied the lunch for 10 years. So I actually fulfilled my dream of being a teacher
That's amazing.
in a fun way.
Yeah, it's a fun way. And it's funny you mentioned that, because over the weekend, it's funny you mentioned that. I was playing Monopoly with my kids. And it's interesting. Kids don't, count money anymore, because there's no tangible, everything's with a credit card and swiping. And back in the old days, we have to count money with our hands physically. So it's interesting you mentioned that. Wow. But so did you have any role models when you were growing up? Anybody that inspired you?
Sure. So my parents are great role models. My parents own their own business, and they
Wow.
always sat around the kitchen table talking about business. So from a very young age, I always figured I'll own my own business. And here I am. I own my own business for 27 years.
So what do they own? What kind of business did they own?
Oh, my father is an electrical contractor.
Okay.
My mother did a number of things for other people. She was a bookkeeper for a bowling alley for many years,
Oh,
and then
wow.
she ran a doctor's office for 30 years. But running a doctor's office is the same as having your own business. You're the one dealing with the finances and all the other details that go on in a business, the
Wow.
employees. And my brothers went into my father's business, and they're still all involved.
That's amazing. Wow. They always say the reflection of your parents, right? The parents are your reflections of the kids, right? And that's what we try to do. We try to
Well,
strive.
I'll tell you what was really great. Sitting around the table, hearing real-time business issues my whole life.
Did you hear a lot of cursing, unfortunately?
A lot of good stories.
A
A
lot of
lot of
good
good
story.
stories.
Yeah, I'm sure we would have to edit it and stuff. Oh wow. And so tell me, did you have any hobbies? Any hobbies or interests that you have or currently
Yeah,
do? Or?
so clearly I want to teach kids about money. So in addition to the nonprofit, we started a company that teaches kids about money. And we have a cute character named Walter the Vault. You could go to walterthevault.com or go on
Love that.
YouTube. We have, I think, 65 animated cartoons.
Oh
One
wow.
has 75,000 views. And it's really for the younger kids. You know,
That's
when my
amazing.
daughter was 5 years old, now she's 35, but when my daughter was 5 years old, we went into the shoe store and they had the vending machine. So she said, Mom, can I have a quarter? And I gave her a real quarter, and out comes a plastic egg with a fake quarter in it. And she's all excited. She's 5 years old. She thinks she got good value, real for fake. And I said right away, you got to teach these kids about money. And I have something hanging up on my wall here. The New York Times wrote an article about us and this event. So I went to the school district nearby, you know, our school district, and that's when I started the nonprofit. They were looking for some kind of grant from the New York State Department of Education, and we were able to get money. And the goal was within 5 years, you had to be a self-sustaining nonprofit. So I combined those things together. And to this day, we teach kids about money. We've been at the Girl Scouts. We've had financial literacy fairs. I mentioned that I'm a CPA. I was the first inaugural chair of the Financial Literacy Committee of the Nassau chapter of the New York State Society of CPAs. But I'm also very interested in everything culinary. I took classes. I'm involved in a women's organization. I volunteered for many years at the New York City Wine and Food Festival, and I just love to entertain.
Oh wow. There's a lot you can do. So tell me about your job, your first real job, your first corporate job and that experience. How was it like and where was it when you first out of college?
Yeah, so I'm a CPA, and in order to become certified, you needed public accounting experience. So I worked at Deloitte in the World Trade Center. We were
Oh
on the
wow.
101st floor, and we were, thank God, long gone by the time the towers fell down. But it would have been a direct hit. I think the first plane hit the 99th floor of the North Tower. I was the 101st floor of the North Tower, but I was long gone. I was long gone at that point. But it was a great experience working for Deloitte. And then I worked for another company that eventually became KPMG. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to commute to the city anymore, and I want to get some legal experience. So I came to Long Island. I was living on Long Island, and so I started working on Long Island for some of the larger firms on Long Island. And I was bringing in substantial business. So at some point, I just said, I'm going to do this on my own.
Wow.
I had young children. I wanted to be in control of my schedule, and it worked out great. I
that's
love what I do.
amazing, amazing. You know, at this point, I like to give the golden nugget time. And what I like to say is that if you like to leave any valuable piece of information that can help somebody's career or be a better business person or anything that you learn, is there any information that you want to share or give us some example of?
Absolutely. You want to be on the pulse of how your business is doing. You want to know all the key performance indicators. So I have a person who's a finance guy who thinks of every aspect from the top to the bottom. How did we get our clients? Is the marketing working? How much money came in? How did it come in? Did it come in from new money or older clients? Did it come in by a check, a cash? You know, we were talking about the kids don't know from cash anymore. Was it an ACH? Was it a wire transfer? Are we getting hits off the website? Does it pay to have a digital marketing guy? So I get most of my business from referrals from accountants and attorneys, financial advisors, and people who know someone's finances and whether they're having a tax problem. Not everybody tells the world about their tax problems. So what's interesting is we analyzed that, and then we said, because I gave a lot of speeches before COVID and the pandemic, I need a digital presence. Does it pay to hire this digital marketing guy on a regular basis? Are we paying too much or too little? What kind of revenues are we getting based on the digital marketing? And I have to say, in the last 2 years, it's been substantial. So in addition to getting, I'm a 7-figure law firm. I'm one of the top female law firms named by, what is it, the Law Journal, the New York Law Journal, and Long Island Business News.
You're definitely a powerhouse, that's for sure. You are a
Thank
powerhouse. Everybody knows you, and you know what? The best part is like when somebody Googles you, you come up, and that's the best part. You know that you actually
you.
talk what you preach is you can actually Google Karen. You know, so that's definitely wow.
So my golden nugget is really keep track of everything and be
Hmm.
able to point your finger to how are your revenues from year to year? Are you comparing your revenues? Are you comparing your expenses? Are you paying the right amount of money for the things? Are you getting the results that you want? And I
Yep.
think that yes, I am very involved in a lot of organizations. And if you check out my LinkedIn. I show pictures
Well,
all the time
I was
of
going to
all
ask
my
you about
fun
that.
events.
I was going to ask you about the your organizations about that. So tell us a little bit about the organizations that you belong to.
Yeah, well, right now I'm the chair of the Relations with IRS Committee for the New York State Society of CPAs. I'm a member of the American Academy of Attorney CPAs. There aren't too many who have both that are both an attorney and a CPA. I'm very active in the NICPAP, National Conference of CPA Practitioners, Nassau Suffolk chapter. We just had the Accounting and Tax Symposium last week or 2 weeks ago before Thanksgiving, and we took over the Crest Hollow Country Club for 3 days. We were on panels talking about various tax issues, specifically the residency and people moving to Florida, and then IRS collections and appeals, what happens when you owe money to the government. I'm the former chair of the Tax Law Committee for the Suffolk Bar and the Nassau Bar. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, and also a lot of other just networking groups.
Yes, yes, a lot of networking was, which we actually, that's how we met, right? We met
Yes.
at a lot of networkers. It's always fun running into you at these networking events. It's always great to see you there.
Thank you.
Tell us about your firm. Tell us about what your firm does and offers. So tell us a little about that.
Okay, so we handle IRS and New York State tax problems. We're a niche boutique. That's all we do. As I said, I'm doing this for 40 years, 27 in my own practice. And so we have relationships with people in the government. We handle residency matters, sales tax audits, IRS audits. A lot of people don't realize that certain taxes for a business flow through to them personally. And so if you don't pay your sales tax or if you don't pay your payroll tax, it flows through to you personally. And you might not be able to get out of it even in bankruptcy or death. So those types of issues, people, let's say you're a CFO of a company, you might not realize that every time you sign a check or sign a tax return, that someone could say you're liable for the taxes. So what you see regularly is somebody might be a celebrity living in California, gets into a company of a fancy restaurant in Manhattan for 1%. They may end up being liable for the sales tax and might owe 100%. So we handle those types of issues. So whether it's an audit issue or a collection issue, and because we're a law firm, we have a special attorney-client privilege that you might not get with your accountant.
Oh, wow. And any specific niche? I mean, because I know that there's a lot of in industries that is so big, but any ones that you have a lot of experience in handling with, like let's say.
Yeah, so we handle a lot of restaurants. We're active in the New York State Restaurant Association. We've spoken at their restaurant show at the Javits Center right before it became a hospital, as a matter of fact. We were one of the last groups to speak there. So that was pretty interesting, I have to say. What other groups? I would say that New York State targets auto body shops regularly. They audit the restaurants. If you look at the top 250 entities and individuals that have an outstanding New York State tax warrant, some very high percentage are restaurants, unfortunately. I think what happens is you assume that next week's business will be better. So this week you borrow the sales tax dollars that's not your money. And so next week, when it doesn't get better, you borrow again. And the next thing you know, you're in a big hole. And so we try to get you into compliance and out of the hole.
Wow.
There
Again,
are methods you hear on the radio,
yeah.
pay less than you owe. So that's an offer in
Yes.
compromise, or pay over time, an installment agreement.
Yes, I hear that all the time.
We try to negotiate the best deal for you.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, but pretty much, is there, so the other thing is, any future goals that you have for your firm, or that you have exciting anything for 2024 for the
Yeah,
first
so I'm
quarter?
always looking to help more people and grow. Always, always. I have a great team. I always say you could do it all. You just can't do it all on your own. You need a great team. And I am so lucky to have an amazing team here. And some of the people have been with me, 20 plus years.
Wow.
More
That's
than that.
amazing.
My bookkeeper's here 28 years. My One of the attorneys, 20 years. The office manager, 10 years. The finance guy, also eight plus years. So
Wow.
we have an amazing team.
Yeah,
The
you have
intake person, 20 years, the intake person.
If people want to learn more about you, what's the best way to contact you?
So you could either call me at 631-465-5000 or go to litaxattorney.com, or you could always email me at ktenenbaum@litaxattorney.com.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Karen, for sharing your story. And if you'd like to be a member at Winning on Wednesday, simply go to our website, www.winningonwednesday.com, and click on the first time guests. And we hope to see you. Thank you so much, Karen. You've been great. Thank you so much.